The Denver Nuggets are definitely something, man. Heat, Nuggets, Game 5, coming up tonight. Supposedly, the closeout game. This is Sports Guy Talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to make game picks for what will happen in Game 5 of the 2023 NBA Finals between the Miami Heat and the Denver Nuggets. Aaron Gordon stepped up big time for the Nuggets as he had 27 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists in Game 4. The Nuggets managed to win Game 4 by the score of 108-95. Before I say anything else though, I want to present you guys with the topic question. So here it is. Will the Nuggets finish off the Heat tonight? And honestly, it's going to come down to effort, attitude, and toughness for the Denver Nuggets. Are they going to play hard like they did in Games 1, 3, and 4? Or are they going to be lackadaisical like they were in Game 2? Because ultimately, we know that the Denver Nuggets are the better basketball team. We've seen it across 4 games. If the Denver Nuggets had played hard, they would have already been the world champs by now. But the Denver Nuggets didn't play hard in Game 2. But here's the thing with the Denver Nuggets. If you're the Denver Nuggets, you don't want to give the Miami Heat any life whatsoever by winning a game in Denver and take it home to Miami for Game 6, because it's extremely difficult to win on the road 3 times in a row. And if you're the Denver Nuggets, you want to close out the game and the series in front of their home building, which is the place where they've been so dominant at home. They've only lost in the postseason 1 time at home all postseason long. And if you're the Denver Nuggets, you want to make sure that number remains at 1. When you talk about the Denver Nuggets, man, they've got a really good 8-man rotation. They've got Michael Porter Jr. in the starting lineup. Yeah, he's played really bad in the NBA Finals, but don't think for a second that he didn't play a key role in getting the Denver Nuggets there in the first place, because he has stepped up big time in the NBA playoffs this year, and he's been a key player for them all year long. Then you got Aaron Gordon, who came up big for them in Game 4, where he scored 27 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. He shot the ball very efficiently. His offensive game has come along really well. I used to question his offensive game, but come this postseason, he has really put a lot of doubters in silence when it comes to his offensive game. And then, of course, they got Nikola Jokic, who was the MVP of the league for the previous 2 years. Now he's on the verge of being a world champion. And then they've got Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. They acquired him in a trade. He's got championship pedigree. And then they've got Jamal Murray, who seems to be blossoming into a star himself and being the co-star that Nikola Jokic has needed for so long. And then, of course, you look at their bench. They've got Bruce Brown, they've got Jeff Green, and they got Christian Brown. All role players that play really hard off the bench, and they give the Nuggets solid minutes. Are those players ever going to be stars? No, but they're going to be players that are going to give them solid minutes off the bench, where they're going to play hard defense and provide scoring off the bench for whenever Nikola Jokic and or Jamal Murray need a rest, or if someone like Michael Porter Jr. and or Kentavious Caldwell-Pope have an off game on offense, or if Aaron Gordon needs some help on the offensive end of the floor. So those are some benefits that guys like Bruce Brown, Jeff Green, and Christian Brown are giving to them. So I also want to note that the Nuggets also have a really deep roster as well. They're playing 5 guys that could easily be in the rotation, and any other team, they've got guys like DeAndre Jordan, Ish Smith, Reggie Jackson, Thomas Bryant, and Peyton Watson. So the Nuggets are technically 13 deep on their roster. Look, if the Nuggets lose some of their players in their starting lineup or in their bench, they're going to be fine, because they could just insert in another player and they could give them solid minutes. You don't think DeAndre Jordan could come in and give a few solid minutes for the Denver Nuggets in terms of getting rebounds and giving good rim protection if the Denver Nuggets ever needed it? Now, here's the thing with the Denver Nuggets. They don't need rim protection right now, but if they ever did need rim protection right now, they could go to DeAndre Jordan for that. If they ever need scoring from the power forward position, they could turn to Thomas Bryant. If they ever need a guard to replace Bruce Brown in case if he's hurt or something like that, or if Jamal Murray is hurt, you don't think they can plug in Reggie Jackson while Reggie Jackson puts in some solid points off the bench as well? And Peyton Watson, who's a solid rookie, he's going to grow into his own role eventually. So when you look at some of these players for the Denver Nuggets, they are really good at what they do. Even the guys that aren't playing in the NBA Finals, they've got championship experience, they've got playoff experience, they know what they're doing. They're not exactly idiots out there. And don't forget about Ish Smith too, who's been on so many teams. You don't think he can mentor some of those guys as well? So you look at this Denver Nuggets team, they're just really deep. And when you look at the Miami Heat team, this Heat team is screwed. Whether or not they have Tyler Hero back for Game 5 and the series moving forward, that's irrelevant. Tyler Hero, sure, he could provide them a scoring punch, but how much of a scoring punch can he really give them? The Miami Heat are losing these games by double-digit points. In the one game where they won, they shot almost 50% from the three-point line, and that was when they only won by 3 points. And they got lucky in Game 2 that Michael Malone didn't call a timeout at the end of Game game too, because if you had called timeout, maybe they go ahead and make that 3-point shot. But you look at this Miami Heat team, they've got to get more production from Gabe Vincent and Max Strus. Gabe Vincent and Max Strus combined for 2 points in game 4. But here's the thing though, Bam Adebayo needs to step up in the non-Nikola Jokic minutes. Nikola Jokic was in foul trouble for 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, and Bam Adebayo failed to take advantage of that. Sure, Bam Adebayo put up 20 points and 11 rebounds, so you're probably thinking, what's wrong with how Bam Adebayo played? He played pretty good on the stat sheet, and he seemed to do a good job asserting his dominance. Well, let me point out some criticisms about Bam Adebayo. Well, yeah, he scored 20 points, but he took 19 shots to get to 20 points, and he was a plus-minus rating of -18. That means when he was in the game, his team was getting beat by 18 points. And more importantly, Bam Adebayo could not hit his shots in the fourth quarter, and he turned over the basketball entirely too much. He turned over the ball 7 times in game 4. That's unacceptable for a guy that doesn't even pass the ball as often as Bam Adebayo does. Bam Adebayo is a decent passer for a big man, sure, but he's not supposed to be this Nikola Jokic guy who can rack up 10 assists a game. And for him to rack up 7 turnovers in a key game at home in Miami in the NBA Finals, that is unacceptable for Bam Adebayo to be performing at. And when I look at this Miami Heat team, if you couldn't win game 3 and game 4 at home, you're definitely not going to win game 5 in Denver. But I'm not surprised by that whatsoever, because I picked the Nuggets to win this series in 5 games. They're just the bigger team. They're the better team. They're the stronger team. They're the deeper team. And so when you look at it like that, yeah, of course the Denver Nuggets are going to win this series in 5 games. I never thought this series was going to be particularly close, unless if the Miami Heat shot excellent from the 3-point line, or if Jimmy Butler had continued to play like the son of Michael Jordan. But Jimmy Butler has not continued to play like the son of Michael Jordan like he has throughout the playoffs. Jimmy Butler has turned back into just regular good old Jimmy Butler, where he's a good player, but he's not a great player, and he's not playing at a historic level. Jimmy Butler is finally showing out to be who he truly is, which is just a good player, but he honestly should not be leading this Miami Heat team to the NBA Finals whatsoever, but he has done that. So give Jimmy Butler a ton of credit for the success of that. I'm not going to go ahead and hate on him, because he is a great basketball player, and he's been clutch for the Miami Heat for the last several years, so you got to give him credit where credit is due. But let's talk about how the Denver Nuggets built a championship roster, man. You look at Michael Porter Jr., he was drafted in the lottery in 2018, 14th overall pick. And then you look at Aaron Gordon, they gave up Gary Harris, RJ Hampton, and a future first-round pick to get Aaron Gordon and Gary Clark. No one cares about Gary Clark, though, because he's not really a relevant NBA player. The point is, they didn't have to give up that much for Aaron Gordon. They only had to give up a future first-round pick and some role players. Honestly, if you had to ask the Denver Nuggets whether they do this trade again, they would say, of course, they would do it, because Aaron Gordon has played a key role for the Denver Nuggets. Then, of course, Nikola Jokic was the 41st overall pick in the 2014 NBA draft. He actually didn't even play for them the year he got drafted for them. He actually played in Serbia. Then he returned to them in 2015 through 16 season. And then they got KCP. They traded for him. They had to give up Monte Morris and Will Barton for KCP and Nish Smith. If you had asked the Denver Nuggets whether they would do that trade again, of course they would do it. And then, of course, they spent a lottery pick on Jamal Murray in the 2016 NBA draft. That was the 7th overall pick, as a matter of fact. And then you look at their bench, they made solid free agent additions in Bruce Brown and Jeff Green. They didn't really overpay those guys. They were getting those guys for bargains. And then they got Christian Brown, a role player. He was the 21st overall pick in just last year's NBA draft. So when you're talking about their 8-man rotation, you're looking at how 4 of those guys were drafted, 2 of those guys were traded for, and then the last 2 were free agency. And that's the formula for small market teams. If you're a small market team aspiring to build a championship roster, you got to build through the draft. And I thought the Denver Nuggets did an excellent job of doing that, because you look at how 50% of the rotation was built through the draft, while they split the rest of the difference between trading and free agency. They didn't give out any stupid big free agent deals. They took bargains off the market, and they're getting career years out of them as well. And don't forget about Michael Malone too, because Michael Malone has played a key role in the championship run of the Denver Nuggets. He has done an excellent job developing these players as well, and he's done better at doing X's and O's, so Michael Malone needs to be given his flowers as well. As far as what I think the final score is going to be for Game 5 of the NBA Finals, I got the Denver Nuggets winning this game by 17 points. They're going to score the most amount of points that they have had in the NBA Finals. They're going to score 115. As for the Miami Heat, they'll score 98 points, but this is going to be a blowout for the most part, the Nuggets are going to be in control for most of this game, if not all of the game. So I got the Nuggets winning this game by 17 points, as they will end up winning the championship, their first in franchise history, by the way. So we're going to be able to see the presentation ceremony be performed in Denver after they finish off the Miami Heat in Game 5. So that is why the Nuggets will finish off the Heat tonight, as the Nuggets will win Game 5 on their home floor by the score of 115-98. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking. Like the video and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That'll be for the @DustinTran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @DustinTran and @Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @DustinTran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video. Comment down below. Check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel, Sports Guy Talking.